right, welcome everybody to Cannabis. I'm I'm Veterans for Cannabis. My name is Carlos Munoz, a veteran of 18 years in service. Next to across the screen, I got Mr. Jared Campbell. And today, okay, in Veterans for Cannabis, we're going to be speaking about some of the reasons we turn into cannabis for the medical purposes, some science behind it. I mean, I think Mr. Campbell, Jared got some stuff about art. So tell me about.
Yeah, so today, everyone, one thing, everyone, welcome back to Veterans for Cannabis. So I wanted to talk about RSO, Rick Simpson oil, and also the full abstract cannabis oil. So today, I wanted to take the time and talk about something that's very personal to me. Talking about Rick Simpson oil and also the full abstract cannabis oil. And those have changed my life. But as a veteran, like many of you out there, I have struggled with chronic pain, anxiety, inflammation, and serious gastro problems. And like many of you, I've tried the conventional treatments, but a lot of them did not work. A lot of them left me with lots of side effects. Some of them left me feeling numb inside and made my daily life even harder. But one day, doing research, I discovered Rick Simpson oil. And that's when everything changed. And I know I'm probably not alone. Many vets are turning to cannabis as an alternative to the opioids and also a lot of those dangerous pharmaceuticals. And today, I'm going to break down what RSO is and what full abstract cannabis oil is and how they work to help us. So here's a little bit of science behind the cannabis for pain, anxiety, and inflammation. To start out, talking about my personal experience and stories of talking to other veterans and how the terpenes enhance cannabis healing properties. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some legal challenges and how to navigate the system as a veteran. So the first thing is first, what is Rick Simpson oil and what is full abstract cannabis oil? Well, first off, Rick Simpson oil, also known as RSO. It is a highly concentrated cannabis oil known for its high THC content. And it was made popular by Rick Simpson, who used it to fight cancer, used it for cancer treatment. But beyond cancer, RSO has been proven to be successful to treat chronic pain, inflammation, PTSD, and even severe digestive issues. So now let's talk about full abstract cannabis oil. It's similar to RSO, but retains the full spectrum of the cannabinoids and also the terpenes, which makes it even more powerful in some cases. It can be taken orally, applied topically, or used in cooking, right? Just like with RSO. But what is the big difference? RSO is typically high in THC, while the full abstract cannabis oil can contain a mixture of THC and CBD, CBG, CBN, depending on the strain, whether it's a hybrid, sativa, or even indica. If you're a veteran dealing with chronic pain, PTSD, or severe stomach issues, these oils might be your game changer for you, just like they were for me. My journey with RSO. Like many vets, I've dealt with pain, both physically and mental. The VA put me on a bunch of opioids and a lot of pharmaceuticals for anti-anxiety meds, but I hated all of them. The way they made me feel, a lot of them made me feel numb. Then I found out RSO. The good thing with RSO is that you want to start out, whether you use an RSO or the full cannabis abstract oil, right? What you want to do is always start out with a very, very small dose, okay? Because it can contain a lot of THC. So you always start out small and kind of work yourself into it depending on your pain, your anxiety, or what other inflammation problems you're having. Okay? So remember, consult with your doctor and start out with small dosage. Don't try to hit a home run right away. Okay? So We covered that, right? So within a week, right? So within a week of me using RSO and also the full extract cannabis oil, I noticed my inflammation went way down. My stomach felt better. My pain became more manageable. But the real shocker was this. My anxiety levels dropped tremendously. I wasn't waking up feeling on edge like I did most of the time. That's when I started doing even more research and learned that cannabis interacts with the endocannabinoid system, a system that's in our bodies that regulates pain, mood, and even our digestive system. Studies have shown that THC and CBD can help reduce inflammation and improve gut health, which made a lot of sense given what I was experiencing at the time. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I've even talked to other veterans who have had similar results, especially here in Oregon where I live, where it is legal and we have a lot of shops. So I do talk to a lot of veterans on a daily basis, and they have shown a lot of improvement in the same areas that I've talked about. Many of them I've talked to used it for PTSD and said they gave them a lot of huge results with their anxiety. Others talked about how their chronic back pain was more manageable. I thought that was really interesting. One veteran talked about how it helped his migraines. And another vet told me that it helped him with his insomnia. He was able to sleep using RSO. So It's not about getting high. So I want all y'all to know that it's not just about getting high. Okay. It's actually getting our lives back together. And that's what cannabis can do. So the science behind the cannabis for pain, anxiety, and inflammation. So let's talk about pain relief. THC and CBD, they bind to our cannabinoid receptors, right? In the brain and also in the body. It helps to reduce pain signals. This is why so many chronic pain patients prefer cannabis over the opioids. Inflammation. Research has shown that cannabinoids have anti-inflammatory properties, which can be crucial to help with arthritis. Fibromyalgia. I have a lot of fibromyalgia, or even a lot of our service-related injuries. Anxiety relief. Certain cannabinoids and terpenes like limonene or even myrcene have calming effects, making cannabis a powerful alternative to prescription anxiety meds. Let's talk about the gut again. If you suffer from IBS or even Crohn's disease or a general stomach discomfort, cannabis may help regulate the digestion and reduce that gut inflammation that causes a lot of the buildup around our gut, right? Why a lot of us gain weight, right? Over time, we all start to get what is called slow gut as older we get. So cannabis, by research, can help regulate your digestive system. When I was doing my research, and I have a lot of gut problems myself. I'm getting a colonoscopy done next week, and so when I got back on using the RSO, I noticed a lot of those gut problems are feeling a lot better. So keep that in mind. If a lot of you are struggling out there, it's really good at helping with that gut inflammation. And here's another kicker. What is the effect? So the idea that THC and terpenes work better together with the RSO and the full extract cannabis oil is even more effectively than an isolated cannabis compound. Okay. So next, let's navigating the stigma, right? And legal barriers for veterans. I know what some of you might be thinking right now. And I know in some areas it's not legal. And it's illegal and legal in some areas. And of course, it depends on where a lot of you live. So cannabis laws are changing. And while medical marijuana is legal in many states, the VA still won't prescribe it. Right? That means many veterans have to go outside the VA system to access medical cannabis.
I'm one of those.
Yes, exactly. But there are programs, right? Some programs help veterans get access to medical cannabis and make it affordable. Some cannabis shops offer veteran discounts, right? And states with medical programs often have caregiver options for those who need help obtaining them, right? So if you're wondering whether you qualify for medical cannabis in your state, there's resources like check out this website, norml.gov. transformative.org. Okay, I'll put that in when we post the video. We'll put that link in there. And there's other local veteran cannabis support groups too to look into. Lastly, how to use the RSO and the full extract cannabis oil safely. Before we wrap up, remember what I said about dosage, right?
Mhm.
Start low, go slow. RSO is potent, starting with a small dose, about the size of a grain of rice, right? So about a grain of rice. And you're thinking, that's not a lot. Well, that's how potent it is. And that's how it can help you. It just takes a little bit, right?
Mhm.
Because some of those can be 100 milligrams or more of THC. And so you have to go into the shops and find what you're looking for. So
Yeah. Thank you, Jared. Thank you so much for
you're welcome.
sharing that. And I personally want to tell you, welcome to the old age club. You know, I have gone two colonoscopies so far, so I totally get it, man. Enjoy your prep. Enjoy it. Oh, that's gonna suck.
Oh, I know.
But
It
yeah,
already,
man. Yeah, like you, and I consider myself to be a newbie when it comes to the marijuana subject, but I have become fascinated on the subject for, excuse me, similar reasons like you. Like many other veterans, I do have intestinal issues. I got chronic pain, like most veterans, right? Along many other things, um, if I were to discuss everything that's going on with my body, it would take us to who knows what time. But one thing I noticed, like I did a little research on cannabis and the different usage of cannabis, and I was very impressed, not impressed, I was surprised of how long medical cannabis has been around, the practice of medical cannabis. And in some other countries, it's been one of the main practices for, like you said, chronic pain, glaucoma, individuals with seizures. And if you look at the research, even in the United States, and we can go back to kids with brain tumors and brain cancers who were cured and went into remission once they integrated cannabis into their treatment. Um, this is not a new subject.
right.
Society been using cannabis for centuries, you know. Um, and the only reason it was in my opinion, okay, the criminalized is because the lack of control, similar to cigarettes and alcohol. The prohibition era that was around the same time. I think it was 1920 when they prohibited the use of cannabis. But even if you look, before that, 1900s, I mean, you can see, if you can look at, the ingredients of some of the, over the counter and stuff that we used to use, or my grandparents used to use back then. A lot of them had some kind of boil,
Mhm.
which is very interesting. Me personally, like you, I have found like I get intestinal issues. I cannot eat half some of the time without having it come back up, right?
Mhm.
What's unique about the cannabis that I use sativa personally. Sativa actually allows my belly to settle down so I can eat and keep the stuff in. And again, I do want to say this again. We're not promoting the using of drugs. We're not promoting addiction. We're not promoting any of that. Okay, what we're promoting here is an alternative practice to current medicine. Okay, and again, one shoe doesn't fit all. But if you have tried everything and you're still struggling with some of the pain, but whatever issues, you may have, I highly encourage you to talk to the doctor regarding cannabis treatment and see if what you're going through right now, cannabis can help. I know fibromyalgia, like you said, it's a big thing. Cannabis helps a lot.
Yeah.
Um, Glaucoma, I think, especially with a lot of Vietnam veterans, glaucoma's been a big deal. Lung cancer, or any kind of cancer. Cannabis is being used to control their pain. So it is a subject that we got to bring up. We got to bring this to our legislation. And, let them know, look, I'm a veteran and I deserve an additional, an alternative treatment to what you're doing right now. I highly believe that, and that's just where I'm at with that.
I could say the last time that I've had a cold is in 2021.
Holy crap, you too. I've had more stomach, like intestinal, like episodes than anything else, but I haven't had a cold in like actual flu in the
Right.
last 3 years. Actually, last weekend, the reason we didn't record it, I thought I was sick because it started like in my belly with diarrhea and vomiting. And then I ended up having like a little, sore throat afterwards. So I'd be like, okay, let me go check out, let me get a no, nothing. No COVID, no influenza. I'm still going on influenza. So yeah, 3 years from which is and again, I do not want people to think that I am anti-vaccine or anything like that. I'm the opposite, okay? But, I stop taking my flu vaccine, to see, let's see how the body reacts. Because before I stopped taking it, I used to get the flu every year straight after the shot, right? And I stopped taking it, and oh shit, I haven't had the flu, you know. So I'm not saying it's because of the shot. I'm not saying because of cannabis, but we do have to look
Mhm.
into things. We have to ask questions. We have to challenge the current practice. Because I think if we don't, we're gonna get stuck in what I like to call the frozen layer, of doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome.
Mhm.
And I feel like that is what, at least in my generation, the pharmaceutical companies have been doing.
Mhm. You know, I also want our audience to know something too. Who's ever listening, if anyone's listening live, you know, my doctor told me about these these herbal things to try, and one was berberine. I don't know if some of you probably heard of berberine. Another one was red yeast rice, and
Hmm.
those supplements you take those together, and they help with digestive problems, helps with cardiovascular, um, helps
Hmm.
with energy, and I've been taking that for a little over a month now, and I'm starting to feel better. You know, and so it makes me wonder what you were saying. We should look more into the herbal medicine and treatments. There's something there.
I mean, if you think about it, pharmaceuticals been around, heavily maybe 100 years, maybe 120, I don't know. But how did people treat themselves prior to this? Haritai people call it stupid, but haritai, a little bit of rum, a little bit of honey and lime, man, that cure any cold for me. So it is those grandma's practices that have done better for me than the pharmaceutical. You know, yeah, I don't know what else to say about this other than let's challenge the norm. let's step outside of our comfort zone and figure out, okay, what is the best practice moving forward? Uh, I'm talking about that. I don't mean to get political by no means, but I'm very happy to hear that Bobby Kennedy is the Secretary of Health.
Say that again. I was
So
listening.
I said I'm very happy that Bobby Kennedy is moving forward with being the Secretary of Health.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
agree.
and again, I do not want to be conspiracy theory or nothing like that, but he said it the best, man. We got to challenge the
Yes.
current practice. It's not working.
No,
Okay, it might be working with, it might be working for somebody, but it's not we gotta find new ways. So maybe go back to the old way, or maybe integrate the old ways with the new ways. I don't know, but we gotta do something.
we're the only country that allows GMOs. All overseas, it's all banned. I mean, that's
Yeah,
an indication something isn't right with the U.S.
yeah.
all those,
And then,
yeah, all the G.
I do. I'm sorry to cut you off. I do not
Oh,
want to say the U.S. as a country. I want to be more specific because I love my country and I believe the United States of America was found, by a diverse group, you know, and the way the Constitution is written, it was meant for diverse country. I don't think it's the country that, those GMO and those pharmaceutical pills and all. I don't think it is the country. I think it is some greedy politicians. They just want it quick and get rich. And if anybody know anything about or have done a little research regarding the opiates issues, you will notice that there were political appointees and political individuals involved, in that, with the FDA and all of this stuff, man. It was a shame, it was a shame to promote, an oxycodone less than 1% addictive. And we ruined so many lives. Well, it's that them greed, that politician greed. And those, don't get me into it, please. Anyhow, man, we hit 22 minutes and 53 seconds. I think we need to start wrapping up. Keep it within that 20-minute bracket.
oh
And I
yeah.
really hope you guys enjoy the video. And I really encourage you, please, let's start a healthy conversation, okay? If you check out the video and you come out, if you listen this far, please leave a comment. Okay, give me your opinion, your 2 cents. Okay, what do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? Um, I think next week, what do you think we should be talking about next week?
Hmm. Uh, I think we could stay on the educational level as well for now, or want to move into some other stuff because I would like to talk more about like cannabis legislation type stuff, like what's going on with that because that is
Yeah,
important.
let's do that. Let's do that, especially in the veteran, you know, side of it. Because I think at minimum, let's legalize federally medical cannabis. I mean, if you look at the opiates, let's treat it the same way.
Right.
You gotta have a pen and paper and you eat. Let's control it. So yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the legal aspect, the current legislation. I can talk about my state as well.
I also,
And yeah, let's do. Yeah, go ahead.
I also want to put out real quick. We can have guests. Our studio allow us to have guests. So if veterans want to come on and talk to us, we can we can share the link and they can come on. So that's
Yeah,
another
that
thing
would be.
because that would be cool to get other veterans on here, just other guests. Put in their
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
I agree. I might get some. I got a couple of friends of mine who might would like to jump in and talk about this. Some of them still. I'm not going to call it scared, but intimidated by the legal aspect of it. But I get it. Been there, done that. I just don't give a shit more. You know. So 25 minutes, Jared. Let's cut it off here. And again, I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody. Mr. Jared, thank you so much
You are.
for for getting this together. And I'm looking forward for next Sunday.
No, I am too. Yeah, we'll definitely get
Cool
some
beans.
Yeah, we're gonna look into some topics. We'll be talking, brother.
All right, brother. All right.
Good seeing you, man. Thank you, everyone
Stay
who's listening.
high.
I love you.
Everybody have a wonderful one. God bless. Peace.
God bless you all. Thanks.